Make sure the radio was coming through. We still hold on. Let me make sure we good. Let me make sure we good. Cause we finna go through the car. Finna go through the car this morning. Man, I'm just finna get right to it, man. First off, if you're tuning in for the first time, you don't know who I am. If you're tuning in for the first time, it's been a long night. We had a great show last night. If you're tuning in for the first time, I'm Boyd, you the Charm Guide, and you're tuned in to the Charm Hour. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, throw 50K in the chat. That is symbolic of the 50,000 subscriber movement that we have going on the channel right now. Last night we did do our live every Friday, 7:30. We are live in the studio. And you get to see us warm up and get started and do sound check and all that cool stuff and then get into the show. So I think every Friday is a treat for sure. And we would love for you guys to always be in attendance because that's when I have the panel and it's not just me talking. But sometimes I just ramble on and I'm just getting out my thoughts. And it's good to have other people there with me. So the panel is what you get on Fridays, and then often, more likely than not, you get a lot of uh, uninterrupted boy Drew and all the ideas that I have and all the thoughts that I want to give to you that I'm feeling about politics or whatever the case may be. But every Friday, 7:30, make sure y'all tune in. And you can always catch it, you know what I'm saying, on the channel because I let them stay up. So, anyways, man, we're going to talk about the boycott. We finna get right to it. We finna talk about this boycott. That's what we talked about last night, the boycott and our feelings on it. And then, this is the aftermath. I want to, right now, this is the aftermath. What are we thinking about the boycott right now, the next day? What is it going to be like the next day? My feelings last night, like I said, what are we boycotting? Like, what are we boycotting? Who's doing the boycott? So meaning who, what group is doing the boycott, and what group is going to measure the success of what's going on with whatever movement we have going on? Who's going to do this? Is it black people that are boycotting? Is it LGBTQ community that's boycotting? Is it immigrants that are boycotting? What are we boycotting? So DEI, who is that all included? Who's included in that? What are we boycotting and what are we going to measure from the boycott? That's my question. That is my question to everybody out in TV land. Like, who are we boycotting? Are we gonna measure it? And what do we get? What do we get from this boycott? Me personally, I don't understand the boycott. I don't think it makes sense because like we said last night. So yesterday's the boycott. The day before, I could just go to the store and stack up everything that I want. Y'all hit that like button when y'all come in too, by the way. Go ahead, tap that like button. When y'all hit that like button, this channel and this subject matter is going to be recommended to other people, and that's what we want. We want this conversation to go to other people so they can tune in. But anyways, so the boycott, right? So the day before, you can just buy everything that you want to buy. And then when you get into yesterday, no buying. And then today, you can go buy again. So I'm trying to really understand in totality, how is that really going to benefit whatever group is boycotting? And again, I don't really understand who is boycotting. Because when you talk about the DEI situation, right? Okay, the DEI, the DEI rollbacks. Well, Target still had a Black History Month section. I'm sure Walmart has had some type of Black History Month section or whatever the case may be. They did take out the LGBT. They did take out the LGBT, which paraphernalia and all that. Which I don't think that should be in the store in the kids section anyway. Okay, so I don't get it. But what I'm saying is, what were we supposed to? What's up, Sheena? How you doing? What were we supposed to exactly gain from the boycott? And this is exactly the questions that we posed last night. By the way, every Friday at 7:30, y'all, we live in the studio. I got the panel. We set up. Y'all can also call in, chime in. It's beautiful. So I wouldn't. Y'all need to like this, subscribe, tap in, because every Friday at 7:30 we do this, and you ain't got to just hear my mouth. You can hear a panel discuss these things with me. But again, I'm trying to figure out exactly what the boycott was supposed to do. And I keep asking this question because I want everybody to really be, I want everybody to open their minds up and think about how much of a, not only do we live in an echo chamber, but we also are just in a world where we're followers. We do what everybody else does. We think that, oh, I saw people online getting into it. And let me say this, just when we get into it online, people getting into it for real. Don't hide behind this. Oh, it's just online. It's not just social media. People get into it seriously on Facebook and debates and have personal issues. I have people that have personal issues with me based off of what I believe and what I posted on Facebook. And one of the things I made fun of was point me to the most racist establishment on the 28th. Point me to the most racist establishment and I'm going to go support it. And the reason why I said that was this. I don't think that it's an actual boycott. I think that it's just political jargon. It's just political nonsense by leaders that really don't have a real plan for anybody in our community, and they just talking, and it's talking points. It makes them look good, feel good. Somebody like Al Sharpton. Oh yeah, we're gonna boycott for a day. How do we measure this? Who's measuring what the boycott did, and what are we requesting from the people that we're boycotting? You gotta understand something, y'all. One of the most famous boycotts is what? The Montgomery bus boycott. That's one of the most famous boycotts. And the reason why the boycott happened was because during this time, black people had to go to the back of the bus. Black people had to go to the back of the bus. You know, we're talking about an era of segregation. And what the black people were saying in Montgomery was, hey, if I'm going to pay the fare isn't different. If I'm going to pay the same fare as whites, I should be able to sit anywhere on this bus. So we're not going to be mistreated. What we're going to do, we're going to save our money. We're going to carpool. We're going to walk until they make these changes. And by doing that, they did, because the biggest consumer, the people that rode the bus, probably far more than whites, were blacks. And so by doing this and not getting on that bus, hey, let me put you in timeout. Don't get on here doing. Y'all go troll somewhere else, man. Y'all go troll somewhere. Y'all don't have to be here. Y'all don't like what's you coming to troll me is doing what for you when you gonna be putting time out? You better be glad I ain't got no mods here. If you want to go troll, man, just go troll somewhere else. Why you just gonna come here to troll? That makes no sense. You wake up in the morning and think about trolling, huh? That makes no sense. But anyways, that bus boycott was effective because that was the demographic who primarily rode the bus. They wanted to make a change, and they did. So my question to everybody who has participated in this boycott, what were you boycotting? What was the boycott? Especially if you're going to wake up today and go to Target and go to Walmart and go to these establishments and purchase items. When you think about something like Shea Moisture, I just learned this. Unilever, if that's how you say it right, the company, they own that. It's not even a black-owned skincare company anymore. A lot of, major corporations own some of these boutique brands that we think are privately owned, and they're just not. I think the whole DEI rollback, honestly, is just a lot of media, political charade and circus. Because Target has learned, I'm sure Walmart, I don't think Walmart cares much. Walmart came in the game like, we just want to beat prices. We want to be the store for the common person. And that's essentially what they've been. They've been the store for the common man. So do we really feel like in mass these, protests against the DEI rollbacks, does that affect the country as a whole? Because I would assume that Walmart's fan base is pretty big, especially when you talk about like middle America, places that are homogenous places where you may not even see other groups of people. I doubt that Walmart, this is a big deal for them. But let's just say somebody like Target. Target may be in different areas. The demographic is different. So I read that they did lose quite a bit of money because of the DEI change. But I don't even think that's a big enough deal. We live in an era where we will forget. We forget over time. It doesn't take us long. Our our memories are very short, and we'll be in buying stuff from these places once again. But what are we boycotting? And that's been my biggest issue. And I've said this over and over again with some of the liberal thinking is that they want us to feel as though we have this harsh oppression over us, especially black people, that we're living just in this time of where we're just harshly oppressed, and we have to use some of the old tactics that were used during the civil rights movement. And that's crap. That's bull. You're not living in that type of time. The issues that you face are much different. You have to have a much different strategy, and I think it's going to be a little more difficult. Each level that you go up, I think the strategy changes and it's going to be more difficult. I don't think we live in the era of boycotting anything anymore. You know what would have made more sense? And let's just say for black people, let's say for the entire month of February, you didn't spend your money outside of your community. Let's say for the entire 28 days, let's say that the strategy was you did not spend your dollar outside of your community. And that was the strategy versus you boycotting a major white institution. What if you said, hey, we're going to get food in our community. We're going to purchase anything that's our people. Because you have to look at the buying power too. You can Google this. Look at how much buying power the black community has. How much, what the consumer power, the monetary part of it. How much do we spend annually? You can look this stuff up. So for 1 month, we were able to put that inside our community. Wouldn't that be a better thing? Wouldn't that be better? Think about it like this. What if the strategy was, okay, we're gonna go to a black bank in the month of February, everybody collectively, we just said because we want to make impact, we're gonna open up checking accounts and maybe just $1 a day, $2 a day. I don't know. I'm trying to just come up with something that's a lot different than, oh, just this blanket we're gonna boycott, because that's something that you can measure. We know, okay, black people collectively across the country said in the month of February that we was gonna go to black banks and open up a bank account. We did. We put some money in there. We didn't give up our Bank of America. We didn't give up these other accounts, but we put some money somewhere. Okay, because when we talk about loans, we complain that we don't get loans and things like that. I would assume that if we put enough money in these black banks, we could get some loans. And we press these banks. Look, we're gonna collectively put money in the banks, but we want to see you give out a certain, of course. Here's the other part to this too, because I hear this a lot. We can't just be out here giving out money and don't have no type of stipulation on it. We got to make sure the credit is good. We got to make sure, now we can lower the bar for credit because we know collectively, I believe this too, just collectively as black people, we don't have higher credit scores than other groups of people. That's not to say we shouldn't strive for it, but if in a black bank, I'm gonna, we're gonna change the requirements on what it takes to get a loan. But that's a strategy. That's a strategy. When we think about like the hair care industry, right? How much money are we spending on hair care? Our people, our women, how much money do we spend? It's like $2.5 billion. Now we know this. If you don't know this, I'm going to say this. How many black people own, or what's the percentage of black ownership in the black hair care industry? It's small. It's less than 20%. It's like 14%. Over 80% of the ownership in black hair care products, that industry, it's like Asian, Korean, South Korean. They have ownership in the black hair care industry. Why didn't we boycott that? And this is not an attack or a shade on the Asian community at all. What we're saying is hey, you want to make an impact, right? You want to put the dollars back in your community, right? So why don't you do something that makes impact? This is why I don't believe that shit. When they start talking about boycotting and that fake revolutionary talk that get talked about, I don't buy into it. I laugh. I go to any white racist establishment and spend my money. And I spend my money proud. You can call me a Uncle Tom, which is incorrect. You can call me a Sambo. You can call me all the derogatory names, coon, whatever the case may be. But when we really get to talking about what's revolutionary, we tend to see that none of y'all have a clue on what that is. Because I just gave a strategy for next year. What if for the entire month, black women said, we not buying no wigs, no lashes from any black hair care facility that is not black owned and operated. We not going to do it. We not going to give our money towards any facility, institution that is not black owned, operated. Now, here's that thing about Amazon. You got to be careful with the boycotting of Amazon because you have private companies on Amazon. So what we say is, we not going to not spend money on Amazon, but when we go to Amazon, we're looking for private black companies that are privately owned, and we're going to purchase from them for the entire month of February. That's a strategy. Y'all don't understand that? That's a strategy. That's measurable. That's measurable. So a black company that typically don't get business, let's say they getting business, but it's not that heavy throughout the year like it would be in February, right? And then for 28 days, we got a black business that says, hey man, we saw sales increase. I'm just throwing numbers out there. 70%. We made so much money, we was able to expand our business a little more, improve our products, and bless our customer base. Don't y'all see that as a better strategy? Instead of telling Walmart what they is and ain't gonna do. Do y'all know how much Walmart worth? Do y'all know how much Target is worth? And then when you look at the entire fan base, the demographic of these companies, your one day boycott does what? Because if you really needed to go to Walmart yesterday, you can go today. It's March 1st. And by the way, March is Women's History Month. So shout out to the women. We got another month. We're going to, you know what I'm saying? But this is not a feminist channel. I don't talk about feminism. But that doesn't make sense. That's what I mean by something that's an actionable item that can be measured. We can measure that and say, hey, we know that for 28 days, we have went to black banks, we have went to black businesses, we have invested in it, it's measurable, we know that it brings about a change, and we can say that. But again, when you talk about this boycott, who's boycotting? Now, black people, y'all gonna be the ones every time. Y'all gonna stand up, oh, black, boycott, because you came up with that whole concept. All the civil rights concept, you were a part of that. But what are you boycotting when you boycott the DEI? Are you exclusively directly talking to yourself? Are you talking about a bunch of other groups that are claiming that they're subjugated, a subjugated group of people and minority? Who are you talking to? That's what we have not defined. You cannot, a boycott is not successful without who's doing it, the group that's doing it, what's the goal, is it measurable, and how long we gonna do it. A boycott can take a long time. You know, I don't even remember how long the Montgomery bus boycott took, but it was enough time to make those people in a segregated part of the country say, we finna let these black people ride wherever they want to ride because they damn near bankrupting us and we got to pay our bus drivers. You know, I'm watching black women on, with their phone. Oh, it ain't nobody in here. And you work at Walmart. You don't want nobody. You want people to show up. You want people to be in there all the time because that's your job. That's how you provide for your family. We living in some real odd, uneducated ass times, dog. There was a point where it was kind of funny. But now it's just simply ridiculous. It's like we really do not have a clue. We kind of get off on the feeling of feeling like we're pushing the needle, but we not pushing the needle. We not moving anything forward by saying, okay, we're gonna boycott for today and we're gonna feel good. And then you're gonna get mad at other people who saying they're not gonna participate. Why should they participate in something that they can't measure? And then let's just be honest. How many people out there are living in an oppressed life right now, that in a situation that you hadn't put yourself in? I mean, when you look at the demographics, especially of like minorities and where minorities live, and I hate that term minority, but when we talk about like black and brown people where they live, they're going to be democratic liberal places, and that you can go and patron any place that you really want to. You're not living in these sundown towns, I hope not, or these suburban areas where it's not really catered to you. Some people do, where, some people live where they not wanted. That's just what it is. Some people live where they not wanted. But at the end of the day, it's like, man, I mean, I don't understand who's oppressing you. Because Target is saying, we're going to take this stuff out of here. We're going to, Walmart, we're going to pull this. We're not going to cater. First off, it's a holiday, it seemed like, every other week. There is a celebration of something I totally see the marketing behind a lot of this as being more so a consumption strategy for consumers, or a strategy by companies for consumers. Because, good point that was brought up last night by Grizzly, man. And again, y'all gotta tune in every Friday, 7:30. We in studio. Y'all see the cool mics. I'm pretty sure the audio's better than this phone. I need to get another phone. But we have all the cool cameras and everything set up. So I really implore y'all, go ahead, like, subscribe, get with the channel, and set your notifications, because every Friday, 7:30, we in studio with the panel. But Grizzly brought up a good point. He was like, he's never seen a time where like Easter stuff started coming out, like a little bit before, Valentine's, even a little after. Like you're on a program to spend money. You are on a Easter, you buying stuff for Easter. You buying Valentine's. What's finna come up for the July 4th? You are spending money throughout the entire year. You're encouraged to do that. You have all these different holidays, all these different months. You are encouraged throughout the entire. Before you know it, you're gonna be looking up, and you're gonna see the Thanksgiving, and right along with Thanksgiving, turkey and all the goodness, you're gonna be seeing the time for Christmas decorations to come right back up. This is really how it is. It's like you are built to be a consumer. You're built to be a consumer. You are made in such a way that you are we got Cinco de Mayo coming up. We're going to be doing that. We're going to have barbecues. Everybody celebrating everything. We all celebrating everything. Everybody celebrating Black History Month, having barbecues in Juneteenth. You are just built to be a consumer. So I think that's something that's just crazy. It's dangerous and it's crazy for our community, society, all of us, no matter what color agenda you are, to even be dealing with that. Especially in a time where we're complaining about the price of eggs and we're complaining like the things that we should stay focused on. For me personally, when we talk about the mismanagement of money from the government, we as a people should be asking more questions. We should want to audit. We the people should say, where are our tax dollars going and why? And why isn't anybody telling us about this more? Why aren't we getting any verbiage on where our money is going? Don't Target is a private company. It's not federally ran. Walmart is too. I'm not saying that they may not get any type of incentives, which they were, or they may not. I mean, they may get some government help at times. I'm sure all these companies do, but for the most part, they're private companies. They can do what they want to do. They don't have to have these initiatives. That's the other thing we have to understand. They're not saying that you can't come into the store. This is not the time of segregation. There's not white only water fountains and for colored only water fountains. We don't have that. See, I wish black people wouldn't have pimped off their oppression. We as black people, we shouldn't have pimped off our oppression or let people come take the oppression and spread it out so we can have all this nonsense that we have going on right now. Because I honestly think it's a smack in the face. It's a smack in the face for us to even allow certain terminology, certain terms to come up because we worked so hard to get there. We worked desperately hard and fought to be able to just use a water fountain that everybody else could use. We got a time where we arguing over genders in the bathroom, but black people fought hard to just go use the restroom everybody else was using. We don't live in those times anymore because the consensus was if we're going to let black people do it, we going to let everybody do it. So a lot of these little battles have been fought already. They've already been fought. We've already went through it. So why do we feel the need to continuously have this oppressive mentality? I just don't understand it. This is not, and listen, we talk about racism. We talk about, the issues with it. We have had that. We discussed this last night. We've talked about, because I know many people look at this material and they kind of think I'm just far right leaning. No. I'm very much so in the middle. I'm moderate conservative, but I mean, I can look on the right and say, yeah, I hear the racist undertone. I hear the racist undertone. But at the end of the day, I also think there is a victimhood mentality here that's practiced on us all the time. And then even when we talk about, hey, let's talk about this. What we gonna do about gentrification? Because gentrification is an issue. I don't know if we see it as an issue, but gentrification is an issue. We haven't come up with a combative strategy for that yet. In Houston, there is some historical tags coming on some historical black sites, and they're gonna make it affordable housing, which I believe that's cool. That's a start, but like the economic disparity for black people, we haven't addressed. We have too much to address. Too much to address. Too much to address to participate in the shenanigans with everyone else. We just have too much to address. Gentrification, economic disparity, the family crisis. We have a family crisis in our community. We doing it with each other. We having babies, but we not getting married. Like, the things that are really affecting us and screwing us over that do have some ties to systematic racism, we're not even addressing that. We're not addressing that at all. We are attaching whatever we feel our oppression is to everyone else. I don't care about the DEI rollback because the DEI rollback does not directly affect me. It doesn't. Whether your black hair care product is being sold in that store or not, that don't affect the community as a whole. You need them white institutions because black institutions aren't strong enough to fund anything. You don't see that as an issue? And we're American. We're American citizens still struggling to get capital injections in our businesses. Why don't we have gas stations on every corner? We got a church though. Y'all don't even want to get into that. There's a church on every corner. Where's the gas stations? Why aren't there more banks? Why are there needs to be much more entrepreneurship going on in the black community and much more capital injection going on. Why is that not happening? I don't care about the DEI. I don't. Hold on. Let me make sure I'm coming in clear. Let me make sure I'm coming in clear. I'm gonna have to get my mic back. I hate when people call me and I'm trying to do a live, man. It's like the worst. It's the worst thing. It's the worst thing on the planet. Somebody always gonna call, man, when I'm doing a live. But I don't understand it. Like we have not addressed any real issue that we have. Any real issue. That's why it's a joke to me. I don't care about the boycott. I don't care about it. I'm not boycotting anything. I'm not boycotting nothing. You know why I'm not boycotting anything? Because I don't know what I'm boycotting. I don't know exactly what my boycott. And then, you have people that are trying to say that if you don't boycott, you're the equivalent of somebody who would have stayed on the plantation during the era of slavery. How you know that? How you know your ass wouldn't have stayed there? When them whips get to cracking and them dogs get out there and them guns get to going and you ain't got one. How do you know what you would have done? All that fake revolutionary attitude online grinds my gears. It grinds my gears because it's fake. You wouldn't have did it either. It's either in you or it ain't. The revolution is either in you or it ain't. The things that are really revolutionary, we don't want to do. The things that are really revolutionary, we don't want to do. So here's my plan. Here's my strategy. The first place we have to start specifically with the black community is the family. These are not going to be, what I'm finna say is not going to be exciting. It's going to be hard, it's going to be difficult, but it's going to be the start. That's having a man and a woman come together and raise a family and vow that no matter what, they won't break up and that they won't leave each other. So that's one. That's one strategy. The other part is to now in your family, what you can do is when you start to build your family and you heal your family, families can put their monies together. Families can put their monies together. Families should come together and loan people within their family money that need it for entrepreneurship. Because the credit you just established that with your family. You don't got to go through no credit bureau or none of that. Because until we build that up, you need to go to your family. You should be able, hey, I need $10,000. Your family should be able to come together and accumulate. There's $10,000 in your family. Y'all want me to be honest? As much as we spend money, it's probably $100,000 in your family, depending on how big your family is. Families should come together and put their money and resources together to pick somebody out that family to go into a business and start a business that could not just hire people in the family, but hire people in the community. These are small starts. Eventually, what happens is you're hiring people in the community, and of the community, the next place we need to go outside of the family, we got to open up banks. We have to get some banks. Black people got to get some banking institutions on their side. Some good money. And I'm gonna say this too. Besides just giving money and getting money, we need to learn how to take care of the money and pay our bills on time and pay the stuff back that we're borrowing. Come up with good, as far as like, get integrity as it pertains to money. These are things that's going to pull us away from criminality too. Getting away from criminality. Everybody can't sell dope. Everybody, first off, that's old. That's something we got to get away. All the criminal scamming, stealing, and all of that, kick it out of the door. Why are we talking like this? You know why? It's going to take longer than a day. It's going to take longer than a day to do what I'm talking about. Some of what I'm talking about, you may not even be alive to see the fruits of it. We don't want to do that. We want to feel good today. We want it right now. And that's just not going to happen. But that's the strategy we need to deploy. Seriously. So family, borrowing money within the family, creating entrepreneurship through that, hiring the family and the community, and getting banking institutions. Now, some of this I'm pulling even from Dr. Claude Anderson. And it's not like specifically just pulling from him, but taking some of his talking points. It's like then the next thing is politics, legislation. Having legislation. So once you get money, once you establish your community, now we turn and say, okay, what are we legislatively going to start doing? What protections do we need? Who do we want to represent us? That's what you have to do. These things are slow. It's not fun. It takes time. It takes planning. But that's what you have to do. And I'm specifically talking to black people because we get fooled all the time. We get fooled the most. Why are we backtracking? We done did boycotting already. We done got whooped, beat, lynched. We did all of that. We need to be moving forward. How do we move forward? What do we need to do for ourselves moving forward? I want y'all to think about that, man. Again, don't forget to like. Don't forget to subscribe. Throw 50K in the chat. That's symbolic of the 50,000 subscriber movement that we have going on the channel. And every Friday at 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, I want y'all tuned in on this channel. We be live in studio with the panel. I like the cameras. I like the production part. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, this is very intimate though. To get here and get it, this is awesome. But when we get the panel up there, it's cool. We be playing music. It's just dope. I'm a producer at heart, and you know that was a profession of mine. So I love the good production. But man, I want y'all I really want y'all to I want y'all to lock in on, what am I boycotting? What is oppressing me? What should I be changing in my life and in my family? I want y'all to think about that.